Hello, I'm Cindy Richards, financial advisor with Raymond James, and I'm here to introduce you to an estate planning series that we do entitled Sudden Death, Are You Prepared? It's a guided transformation over a 3-week period of 2-hour sessions, helping you put together a notebook of your personal information so that if you become incapacitated or when you pass away, your heirs will know everything that you have, where is it, and what are they supposed to do with it. Some of the topics that we cover during the course of the series are, what do you want for your family? If you have strength of purpose and you want to plan so your family is not left hanging, what do you want them to know about how you lived and what do you remember? We also talk about where are your assets and documents, your passwords on your computer, intangible and tangible assets. What are they? Where are they located? How are they to be disposed when you pass away? And how are they to be handled in case of your incapacity? What are your assets? A definition of everything that you have and are specific things intended for specific people. What do you have in the way of bank accounts, brokerage accounts, possible tax issues? How do you pay for your bills? If you become incapacitated, how will those things be handled? What types of facilities or communities have you looked at? Do you intend to move to one of those? Age and place in your home? Also, how are your assets titled? And do those things have to be changed? Are they titled properly to deal with what might happen if you are not in control any longer? Who are your successor trustees? Do you have documents in place to deal with those issues? Things such as a living will, a living trust. Do you have wills and power of attorney documents? Are those up to date? Have you checked your beneficiary designations lately to make sure that your intended purpose is still intact and that those assets will go to the people that you intended? As far as your income is concerned, do you have enough income to last for your entire lifetime? I help clients navigate longevity and deal with those issues that may come about as we age and we are forced with limited mobility or dealing with chronic diseases. How do we handle longevity? And how do we change the way we're doing things as our life changes? So if you're receiving Social Security and retirement benefits, how will those change when you pass away? What will happen to your surviving spouse if you have one? Will they have sufficient income to live? Will they have to change their lifestyle? All of these things are addressed. Maybe you still own a business, and have you taken a look at how that business will pass to others or how it will be handled if you're no longer in control? How much income do your investments pay, and where do those sources of income generate? Will that be added income for your surviving spouse, or will they be forced to live on income that is much lower than what they're expected now, and how will they maintain their lifestyle? So addressing all of these issues and giving the ability of the survivor to continue the way they live. Maybe they will have to go back to work. Do you have any type of annuity or life insurance that may provide additional income for them? And how will they handle them? Do they know what they are and how they work? Also, if you would need care as time progresses, have you addressed those needs? Have you had that conversation with your family and your loved ones about what type of care you would want, where you want to receive that care, and who will provide that care? So again, exploring all of those possibilities of what is out there available, different levels of care, what is the cost of those options, and how will they be handled? Have you dealt with long-term care? Do you have a health care surrogate appointed? Do you have a living will or perhaps a do not resuscitate order? What are those different documents? How do they operate? And who do you appoint to be those people that will be in charge if you cannot speak for yourself? Also, final expenses. Have you looked at what medical bills you might have to address? And who will take care of those? Who's going to be your personal representative should you pass away? Do you have a successor trustee? And have you talked to that person about what their responsibilities and duties will be? Also, have you dealt with things that may come up should you become incapacitated? How will they deal with things that may not have been addressed already? And what family members do you have that may have not agreed with your decisions? How will you handle that? Most people say you don't know someone until you have shared an inheritance with them. That's a very true statement. So have you dealt with that? Talked about having an unbiased third party to handle some of those decisions and processes for you to avoid family arguments and maybe hard feelings. Have you made a pre-arrangement for your funeral and final resting place? Have you thought about full burial, cremation? How are you going to deal with those things? And does your family agree with those decisions? And if they don't, are you giving them the power to change things? If you have a trust document, that gives you control from the grave. So it's instructions to your successors of how to safeguard your assets if you cannot speak for yourself, and what to do with your assets once you pass away. And again, it can be an ongoing, continuing legacy so that your family is not left to their own defenses and have to make those decisions for you. So there are homework assignments that take place during the course of the series to help guide you through that transformation of an expanding estate plan, far beyond what you would do in a trust document or a power of attorney, so that your family knows everything that you have. What are they supposed to do with it? How do they find it? And how do they access certain things to carry on when you're no longer able to do so?